This is Michael's mom, Kim, his friend Roy, his wife Becca, and this is his speech.
One of the earliest memories I have as a child is receiving my first Nintendo from my parents. I was 4 or 5 at the time. It's been so long, I don't even remember. My dad hooked it up, and I saw Mario for the first time. I never imagined how big of an impact that would have on my life. I've been playing games for nearly 25 years since then. I've spent countless hours looking for gold, riding dragons, and saving princesses. Nowadays, 97% of kids are reported to play video games for at least 1 hour a day, according to the American Psychologist. But it wasn't always like that. When I was growing up, there was a lot more of a stigma attached to playing video games. I want to talk about some of the reasons that there's a stigma attached to it, dispel a few of the myths, and talk about some of the positive aspects of playing video games and why I think all kids should be introduced to them at least at some point. So why do people think that video games are bad? The number one problem people have is violent video games and their supposed effects on kids, mostly coming from parents and older generations. The first I heard of this was after the Columbine shooting, when first-person shooter games were reported to be a factor in the problem. After the Sandy Hook shooting, President Obama invested $10 million in research to see if there was a correlation between violent video games and these mass shootings. Now, I've played these types of games my whole life. Almost all of my friends have as well, and I've never seen anything in a game that's more violent than something you can see on TV any night of the week. Another problem gamers face is being classified as lazy, antisocial, and stick to themselves. You've probably heard the jokes, you just play video games in your mom's basement all day. The average gamer is usually considered to be obese, sedentary, and antisocial. I like to think of myself as proof that that's not always the case, and that there are many positive benefits to playing video games. So what are some of the positives about video games? A study from Green and Bavelier showed that shooters improve memory allocation and quick reflex skills, leading to better motor function in developing children. Another study by Dr. Prensky showed that strategy games increased kids' problem-solving skills, leading to better thinking in their development. Now, the thing that hits home with me are the social and emotional benefits involved with gaming. I grew up in a very rural area where I didn't have many friends to play with in the neighborhood. I had to look to video games for something to do and something to entertain me. Instead of hanging out with Jimmy across the street, I hung out with Mario. As I was older in the military, I spent 2.5 years in Iraq. There's a lot of alone time when you're over there. It's similar to prison. Without video games, I think I would have been a much sadder and a much more depressed person during that time. I believe truly that video games helped carry me through my deployments and kept me on an even keel. In closing, everything is fine as long as it's in moderation. Kids shouldn't be playing games for 12 or 14 hours a day. But I don't see any difference in playing a video game or watching TV, and we all watch TV for several hours each night, whether it be a movie or your favorite shows. I want to show my kids that video games can have a positive effect, and I hope that one day they'll be able to play them with me. Thank you.